All right. Fantastic. Hello and welcome, everyone. Welcome to our session here from NICE InContact and PTP on Answer Your Digital Wake-Up Call and Redefine Your Customer Interactions. So I'm delighted today. I'm Chris Bauserman, VP of Segment Product Marketing at NICE InContact, and I'm delighted to be joined here today by Andy Middleton, who is a Senior Technical Architect with our partner, PTP. And today we're going to walk through really three big things for you. One, really talk about how kind of digital transformation, sort of capital D digital, is really changing your businesses, sort of how your business models are evolving. And then second, we'll talk about really how your customer service organization and your contact center actually fit into this transformation, both in terms of what you need to be thinking about to align to the bigger business changes, but also what are the opportunities that really transformative digital can open up for your contact center and your customer service team. And then third, we'll go through some real life examples of customers who've made that digital transformation, including those who have taken different paths to get there. Right, so there's no one size fits all way to get there from a digital transformation perspective. And happy to share Andy's insights on what worked for a couple of customers and what can work for you. So as we kick things off, really, digital transformation has been a bit of a buzzword for a few years now. But we've really seen this year in particular is it becoming not just a mission that a lot of businesses are focusing on at the boardroom level, kind of enterprise-wide, but really the transformation, the defining characteristic of what's been happening with businesses this year. So you look at this, right? Overwhelmingly 80% of businesses are saying that digital transformation has become urgent and more urgent. Over 80% are accelerating that digital transformation aggressively right now, and about 2/3 are increasing the investment in digital transformation. So, of course, simple math there tells you that about 2/3 are increasing the investments, and about 20% are just making us all work a little bit faster on the same investment. I'm sure none of you can relate to any of that. If we look at what's happened, of course, a big factor of this has been the pandemic, and that has really caused organizations to leap forward earlier this year about 5 years in just 8 weeks. And there's a lot of great studies in this from McKinsey and others that really talked about how the sort of forced to not just work from home, but also interact with your customers, run your business differently, really shifted a lot of these investments, and of course, did a lot of things no one thought could happen so fast. I'm sure all of you had to jump through some things in over a weekend or within a short week or two that you never thought possible within 6 months or a year. And so that has really redefined that interface between your organization and your customers. Because again, it's now you felt probably personally some pain, maybe even some burnout of making these transitions so fast. But what's really interesting is this is happening across your entire company. And just think about this, right? The digital interactions are replacing a lot of face-to-face. In some cases, it's temporary, but in many cases, it's probably become permanent. When you think about retail, even going from not just online or e-commerce, but how many of you place orders at your restaurant, at a store, and do curbside pickup, putting orders in your trunk, right? These are things that are likely to change and are fundamentally a different way that you interact with your customers versus selling and servicing face-to-face. Of course, the collaboration across your teams, across you and your partners, across your customers has changed. A lot of organizations have shifted the emphasis to digital products and services, right? So when you think of Disney as a great example, if you watch their earnings closely, you can hear them, obviously Disney Cruise Lines and theme parks are not growing year over year due to the pandemic. But you look at Disney Plus, Hulu, these digital properties, and the R&D they're pouring into digital is paying off big time. Of course, remote work at scale, across your teams is a big one. And then you pair that with what consumers are doing on the right-hand side of here, accelerating that digital preference to want to interact with you digitally versus face-to-face or phone. Volumes of digital interactions, the reasons people are contacting you are changing, right? A lot more sales support than it is just pure break-fix service. And of course, all this is leading to different customer journeys, again, as you blend physical and virtual and think about some new ways. So this is really what I mean by saying, if you think about yourself as a customer service leader, as a contact center leader, just think about all the disruptions, all the acceleration of change and digitization that's happening across the entire business. And what does that mean for you in terms of the need to be able to align with the rest of your business and their expectations of customer service and customer support in the contact center? But also, what opportunities does it open up for you to really step up and raise your hand and say, yes, I've got a project that's going to tie into this, but also is really going to drive my business forward. And if we look at some examples of, from the contact center customer service organization, aside from aligning and taking advantage of and supporting those big corporate initiatives, right? What are the direct benefits that you can expect to see from shifting more of your interactions to digital channels and aligning the digital way of doing business? Well, if we look at a study was done by Aberdeen this summer, what you and your peers expect is 2/3 to improve customer service and customer experience, about 1/3 reducing your operating costs, and just under another third, which is about 29-30%, looked at this as a way to drive additional revenue growth through better cross-sell and upsell effectiveness. And to some of you, this especially thinking about cross-sell and upsell, maybe a new opportunity. Maybe it happened sort of incidentally in the past. Well, now again, you think about the shift of more digital products, more face-to-face selling and delivery of services and delivery of products versus face-to-face, digital environment. Your teams, even if they're designed for more of a break-fix customer support, are going to have a better and better opportunity to drive that top-line growth. So look at improving customer experience. One of the big things here is that already before the pandemic, there was an overwhelming shift in preference among the younger generations to want to reach out with you digitally. Gen X is about a coin toss, about 50-50. And if you think about it, there's two big drivers to that. One, look on the right-hand side of the slide, just the adoption of how these consumers operate in their personal life, right? WhatsApp is at 1.6 billion active users each month. Right, we send 2 trillion text messages just in the United States last year, right? So think about just how you interact with your friends, how people interact with their friends and family. They want to interact with your business the same way. But there's also another factor that is going to accelerate this, even coming through the other side of the pandemic, which is if you look at people who are home, doing homeschooling, doing Zoom meetings for work, being on hold for 15 or 20 minutes and having that agent pop up on the voice queue right in the middle of some other noisy event at home, isn't very convenient. It's not very good effort. So this asynchronous digital communication really is even more important in fitting into the busy and distracted lifestyle of your customers, no matter what age range they're falling into. And again, you probably see this again with even more digital interactions yourself with brands or with friends and family. Reducing costs, there's some pretty obvious reductions here. And one is that, digital interactions are cheaper from the telephony and connectivity infrastructure charges. But you also see some pretty interesting things about average savings and cost of service, about 30% less or 30% savings, digital channels versus voice. And a lot of this is because you're able to do things, as I mentioned, asynchronously, so you can have one agent handle multiple concurrent customers, maybe 3, maybe 4 at a time, as you kind of fit them in between responses from the customer. So that gives you a lot greater utilization of your agents, and then and that allows you to ultimately handle more volume, more customers with the same number of agents or fewer. And then, of course, as you also look at different specific channels, whether it be chat, whether it be mobile or SMS, again, you see some other big advantages in terms of cost reduction versus traditional voice. And of course, this doesn't mean that voice is going away, but it's how do you take more and more of those conversations that can be handled through quick, short messages asynchronously and be able to drive into those channels with an agent, let alone a self-service option, and then save the voice calls for the ones that are really sophisticated and need that personal touch. And then thirdly, about the cross-sell and upsell efficiency. So also some research from Aberdeen, when you're able to meet customers in their channel of choice, engage with them through rich social media experiences with, again, think about having, being able to respond in a way that connects with them, right? Sending images, emojis, being able to actually have that feel like they're talking with one of their friends, and be able to make it really convenient for them. That has shown to have a 5.5% higher customer lifetime value. Again, when you think about this is the whole lifetime value of the customer. So that's a 5%, 6% increase is a huge amount that's going to your bottom line. And of course, depending on what you look at, right, anywhere from 5x, 25x cheaper to retain your current customers than get new ones. So of course, again, all these things we talk about, being convenient, being in the channel they want to reach you in, lowering the effort score, lowering the effort for your customers is also going to retain them. And of course, in addition to growing that lifetime value, and of course, at the same time, being able to give your agents greater efficiency when you're actually trying to convert in terms of a cross-sell or upsell, whether that be outbound, using outbound SMSs to remind them to refill or renew, or whether it be handling those inbound requests. And you can see at the bottom here a few different metrics in terms of the increase in cross-sell or upsell revenue by reaching out proactively or on an inbound basis using those digital channels. So how do we get there? Many of you are probably saying, well, we don't offer many digital channels, we don't promote it very well, we don't get a whole lot of inbound requests on digital, so we don't invest to make it easier to find us or add more channels, and sort of I feel like I'm stuck. What we found is that it's just like anything, you need to kind of get that flywheel going. And so one thing is, you want to be able to make it easy for agents to be able to handle multiple channels, because then as you're ramping up a new channel or not sure which new channel is going to be a big hit with your customers, that way you're not dedicating, these are my agents who only do SMS text messages. That's all they do, right? If they can do an SMS text message, do a chat, do an email, do a WhatsApp, do a phone call, right? That gives you a lot of flexibility to load balance those agents, and therefore you don't have to worry about predicting that volume so precisely. Of course, the other thing is you do need to predict a bit is, what your volume could be, and making sure that at least with that flexibility, you can staff your agents, you can give them quality and coaching and training, be able to handle those omni-channel interactions. But you line that up, and then of course that allows you then to offer a wide range of channels, and really the best channel win when it comes to what your customers want to reach you in. And that way you actually have this positive feedback loop where you're offering a lot of different options. Customers pick and choose which one makes sense for them or makes sense for them at that given point in time. And then you have the team in place that can handle it and be able to balance across the different volumes. So at NICE InContact, how we're able to do this is really through our NICE InContact CX1 cloud customer experience platform. And from a digital perspective, as well as for blended digital and voice, we give you all the applications and tools that you need to deliver those great customer experiences every time. So one of the first things you'll be able to think about here on the left-hand side is customer analytics. So this is being able to do voice of the customer surveys, looking at interaction analytics and analysis and understand, regardless of what channel, what type of service they're reaching out to you on, understanding what's driving sentiment in a positive way, what's driving NPS and CSAT, and what are those root cause issues that you might want to address at a program-wide level to either do training or fix product and service issues that actually drive the need for service calls or negative sentiment. And of course, as I mentioned too, that analysis can also help you be more effective when it comes to retention and cross-sell and upsell. Kind of at the top, the keystone of this arch, if you will, is the omni-channel experience and the routing of all those digital interactions together, as well as adding voice that let you have that seamless experience and agent with across customers and agents. Here on the right, you think about workforce engagement. While self-service and bots can be a great way to knock off a lot of the routine tasks, ultimately your agents are what's going to make or break that customer experience. So you want to make sure you've got a great way, especially in a hire from anywhere, work from anywhere world that is going to be a lasting change we talked about on digital transformation. You make sure you've got the tools in place that can help you to train, staff, give feedback, and really challenge and engage through gamification your agents and wherever they are, right? We get back to working in the office, or whether we have agents that you'll never actually meet face to face. And of course, all built on a automation AI that can help provide smart self-service as well as automate routine tasks for agents and supervisors. And all of this built upon an open cloud foundation, right? The one thing you want to have is that future-proof technology that's agile and that can help you securely scale and customize your operations by being able to plug in third-party applications that are pre-built or using APIs to integrate for that custom experience. And so that's kind of what we at NICE InContact provide as our complete cloud contact center platform. And as we kind of dig into how, specifically, we can really help you transform that digital experience. One of the big ways, as I mentioned, is you have to be where your customers are, right? There are tons of channels out there. I mentioned WhatsApp, which probably most of you by now have heard of, but used by 1.6 billion people. Then WeChat, very popular in China and other places in Asia, used by over 1 billion people. If you're talking to customers in Eastern Europe, Line is one that's extremely popular. So you've got all these different channels all across the world where many of your customers are. And if you're not, and having the ability as new channels and new ways to communicate pop up pretty quickly in B2C space, right? That can be very fast. We provide you with over 30 different options to reach your customers, from blended inbound and outbound voice to social messaging channels like I talked about, SMS, mobile apps, live chat. So really all those different ways you want to reach your customers. Provide easy way to flip a switch and turn those on, activate those across all these different applications or your web properties, but also make it really a native experience, right? So it's not a lowest common denominator, right? You can like things with a customer in a Facebook Messenger. You can send fireworks across the screen if you're talking to them in Apple Chat. And so really have that native customer experience in those digital channels to connect to, and you get all in one platform. And what that does is it really does allow you to have that flexibility to meet customers where they are, and then also the ability to add channels to it or elevate, right? So maybe they reach you with a text message. After a couple of quick messages back and forth, you realize maybe we need to at least get on a web chat where we can do a screen share or a web co-browse session. And you add that, or you elevate to that, and then maybe you send an SMS text to follow up, or maybe you have to elevate to voice because it's still not coming through cleanly. By having all those things in place and having to start over, you really do give your customers the freedom to meet you where they are, and more than ever that's digitally, and then guide them to the channels and the experiences that's going to resolve that issue or close that sale the fastest. So kind of talk a lot about what you can do. Now I want to talk a bit about how you can do it, how you get there. And Andy will jump in here in just a couple minutes to really talk about how we have done that and done that together with our partners at PTP. But one of the big things is wherever you are today, we've got a way to get you in there on that journey. So some of you out there who are born in the cloud, or especially are types of businesses that don't feel you don't need to have voice service anymore or never need to have it, right? You can start digital only and stay digital only, right? And be able to provide that complete set of range of channels we talked about, but also make sure that you not only have the option of channels, the blending between them. Agents can handle any combination of them, and you can also do all the staffing, scheduling, coaching, and analysis of those. And so that's kind of that first path, is just start digital only, stay digital only. And then the other two paths, a lot of times are, most organizations say, well, I want to get to a blended but digital first or digital centric omnichannel experience, right? So I want to have digital and voice, but I want to skew more to digital. But the important thing is I want the customer to start in any channel and be able to mix and match and elevate between them to get where we need to be. So in that case, you could start in two different places, right? We could start digital first. So maybe you've got a legacy voice ACD that you're not ready to make a change on today. We could start with just adding the digital channels in routing the experience, and of course also all the other reporting, analytics, and workforce engagement. And then later, when you're ready, flip the switch and convert the voice channel over and add the voice channel as well, and then you've got a fully blended omnichannel experience. Or you might say, let's start with voice and move our voice to the cloud, and then also add digital and keep adding more and more digital capabilities as we go. So it's kind of starting with voice plus a little digital, and then continue to expand that digital to get that full breadth. In either of those last two cases, right, you're still ending up in the same place, which is the fully blended digital and voice experience. So, so again, kind of, like they say in Vegas, 3 great ways to win. But in this case, you guys are all playing the house because you'll always end up with the right answer to meet your customers' needs. And with that, let me turn it over to Andy to talk about really a couple of great customer examples and their methodology to help customers walk through this in real-life scenarios.
Thank you, Chris. Well, I have 2 examples to share with you today. One who pursued a digital-first strategy, the other who expanded to digital. But before I get into that, I'd like to talk a little bit about their common or shared challenges. And I think these challenges are indicative of most of our clients who are prioritizing digital transformation, digital engagement, which is really most of our clients these days. These 2 examples, as well as many of our other clients, they all have prioritized digital engagement and digital transformation. And most of them have legacy premise-based infrastructures as well. These infrastructures are typically very capable, but they require a lot of installation, configuration, and maintenance in order to add the capabilities that a lot of our clients are looking for, that they need for a digital transformation. These clients and others also need to move very, very quickly. They don't want to wait several months in order to get started on their digital transformation. They'd like to take some steps soon. At the same time, they're also very large. They have existing operations. They're complex. So they're very much aware of the disruption that this may cause the business. I want to minimize that and at the same time move quickly. And lastly, a lot of these organizations, they're mature contact centers. They use many contact center capabilities. So they need advanced features. They also want to add some additional features as well. And at the same time, if these digital strategies are successful, then they want to be able to scale this quickly to the rest of the organization. So their solution needs to have those advanced features and at the same time be able to expand to the rest of the audience. So I've got 2 examples to talk about today. The first example is Granger. So Granger sells industrial supplies to businesses, and the business was established over 90 years ago, approximately. So they've been in business a long time. But more recently, they've been disrupted by retailers, online consumer retailers such as Amazon. They were finding that a lot of their more casual customers were using Amazon to order some of the more common items. And that their long-time approach to the market was no longer working. So it was clear then that they needed to adopt a digital transformation. And they were attempting to do so, but they're a very, very large business with a lot of long-standing organizations and processes in place. And so they were finding it very difficult to make those radical changes to their business. So what they decided to do was create a new business that would focus on digital exclusively. And this business needed to be digital first. They needed to integrate marketing, sales, and service to provide the convenience that most people expect from an online experience, but also to provide the support that businesses needed when purchasing these industrial supplies. So they decided a digital first approach. They knew this from the get-go. So what we did was engage to first establish a vision as part of a strategy engagement. We created a vision for what that a customer experience would be like in digital channels, and we provided the capabilities or requirements from both a process and technology standpoint to realize that vision. That made it clear that they needed a new contact center platform. Granger had an established contact center platform, very mature, it was very capable, but it was being used by a few thousand agents in the traditional contact centers that were predominantly voice, and it was going to take several months to make the changes that this new business needed in order to pursue its strategy. This new business needed to deploy within a few months, and it needed to be integrated with marketing, with order management, with supply chain management, and with case management systems. And this was going to be a big change for the existing contact center infrastructure. And, of course, the existing contact centers had to think about their reliance on that platform. So what we decided to do with Granger was to provide a new contact center platform that was going to be cloud-based. And we decided on the NICE InContact platform because it provided all the capabilities that they would need both now and in the future. And it was something that we could stand up very quickly and integrate to the various systems as well. So that, after getting that stood up, it turned out to be a successful implementation. The implementation was about 2 months long, so we met their requirements and timeline requirements. And all because that cloud platform with NICE InContact was very easy to stand up and configure. And that provided the platform for them going forward. Another example I'd like to share is Toyota. So this is a division of Toyota called Toyota Financial Services. They provide loans for automobiles, of course, to dealers as well as consumers. This is a long-standing customer service organization with several thousand agents. Most of their volume was in voice, had always been in voice, and they do an excellent job in voice. But they realized that the customers wanted to resolve more online, and that customers weren't necessarily engaging Toyota online. And at the same time, Toyota wasn't necessarily engaging them online from a customer service standpoint. So they realized that they needed to focus on digital and at the same time integrate digital across the two channels, both voice and digital, so customers could transition between the two and agents could work across the two so that agents could continue to stay utilized and occupied. And at the same time, they needed to modernize their traditional voice channel as well. So with all of these things in mind, they need to make some big changes. And again, they had a legacy premise-based infrastructure. It was going to take several months to both upgrade and configure this traditional contact center-based infrastructure to meet their needs. So what they decided to do was move to a cloud-based platform. And they decided on the NICE InContact platform as well, because NICE InContact, of course, was a leader in that space and provided all the functionality that they needed. So we engaged with them to create a vision for that customer experience again. We spent some time analyzing the existing experiences in the voice channel and how that voice channel could be modernized on the new platform as well as tied into the digital channels that they were going to pursue at the same time. So the analysis of those experiences in the voice channel led to recommendations for advanced self-services technologies, as well as the incorporation of things like SMS into the voice experience and transitions to digital through SMS into the web and mobile channels. And so the platform allowed us to do that very quickly. We made several recommendations, various things that they could modernize in their self-services, as well as functionality they could add at different points in the self-service experience, all while transitioning their existing agents onto the new solution and pursuing the digital channels with web chat. And so this eventually led to the implementation of all these functions, of course. We improved self-services, so more customers would be automated, things got easier on customers, and when interactions showed up with agents, the agents had a lot more information, which was decreasing handle times as well. So overall, a success with deployment, doing digital with voice. So you may be asking yourself, well, these are two examples, but how do I do that? And we've got some general recommendations for you. I think every situation changes based on your specific needs. But in general, you need to move quickly, of course. You need to first create a vision for that digital experience, a vision built around the customer. And you need to decide what process and technology capabilities do I need to support that vision. So this is a matter of coming up with use cases as well as the benefits around those use cases. And I think what you'll find, and Chris's slides and statistics allude to this as well, is you'll find big opportunities and benefits when you go into these use cases around digital experience. And from there, you can usually break these improvements and opportunities down into very small steps. And so there's no reason you need a long and arduous migration plan. Typically, there's some things you can do with a really small group of agents to start to realize some of those benefits now. And so you don't need to move slowly. You can actually act quite quickly in a lot of cases and get some of those benefits sooner rather than later. So lastly, as I said, in both these examples, both of these clients chose NICE InContact. The reason for that is NICE InContact had all the capabilities that a contact center would need. These capabilities were integrated, and NICE InContact is a leader in cloud contact center platforms. So for all these reasons and many more, both these clients and other clients, of course, choose NICE InContact. Lastly, thank you all for taking the time today. I know Chris and I appreciate it. If you'd like to learn more, or if you have questions about how you might do this, or you'd like a short, no-cost assessment, please reach out to us. We'd love to talk to you and discuss some of your specifics and come up with the specific ways in which you could quickly realize some of those benefits involved in digital transformation.